Was it really my fault? Asked the short skirt. It happened to me as well, said the burqa. The diaper in the corner couldn't even speak. She was only 8 years old. What could she say? Like any other 8-year-old here, she was playing outside. The only difference was she was kidnapped. She was kidnapped and taken to a place where she was continuously drugged and murdered for 8 days straight. She was gang raped. A child, merely the age of a baby, experienced things that no one else should. Many of you here must have heard or read about Asifa's case, and you may have known that there have been ethnic tensions involved. But at the end, rape is rape. Protests have been going on and are still going on today. These same protests happened back in 2012 in the case of India's daughter. Celebrities advocating on social media platforms, televisions, broadcasting protests, all to do one thing, to stop the crime of rape. But did that really happen? They didn't realize that by broadcasting, by advocating on social media platforms, they're not reaching people in rural areas, in rural villages, where these crimes happen the most. Not just rape. This happens with domestic violence, with child marriages, and other sexual harassment acts. Let's take Bangladesh for an example. Women are not even allowed to walk on the streets without an escort of a male. They are put upon so many restrictions that they're not allowed to make decisions in their own household. For example, young Bangladeshi girls, they grow up into women with these restrictions, and they lack source of income, they lack health services, and they lack an education. Their children looking upon them, seeing these restrictions, they think it's normal. A mindset is put to these villages, to these children, that it's normal. It's normal for a girl to be harassed on the streets. It's normal for a child to be married at the age of 13. That it's normal for a man to beat up his husband, his wife. Rina and 5 other women have experienced these same restrictions. And they found something through the seclusion. They found that they had each other, and they wanted to create change. They joined a group called Ekata, and over the past 5 years, they have changed the way the village looks upon women. They made it easier for girls to walk on the streets without being feared. What they did, they confronted men who committed acts, and the result, a significant drop in the amount of catcalling, the amount of harassments on the streets. They even stopped 4 child marriages by bringing it to the attention of the police. And even, they sought legal action against husbands who beat up their wives. But the biggest change they created was transforming themselves into leaders that the village can look upon, that the children can look upon to. They redefined the way villages looked upon women. And all of this was thanks to CARE International's program, Shuhardo. Shuhardo is currently in 2,437 villages in Bangladesh, with Ekata in 408 of them. Those 408 villages have showed a 41% increase in the amount of decision-making women have, not just in their household, but in the government and in the council as well. Shuhardo is a program that overall focuses on lifting family out of poverty, where Ekata focuses on women empowerment. How are these two interconnected? Women empowerment has a great impact on poverty. If the woman stands tall, the children, the country, and the family stands taller. A woman being able to work alongside her husband, they're earning more income. They redefine the family lifestyle. They're expanding, not just mentally and physically, but economically as well. They're raising the entire country out of poverty. By educating a girl, you're raising the family income by about 20%. Families reported before ECOG was implemented that they were struggling to feed themselves at least 2 to 3 times a day. After the program, they reported being able to afford new clothing every month, able to provide their children education. Countries like Bangladesh need to realize that if they empower, if they educate, if they engage their women, their mothers, they're developing as a whole. CARE International has realized this and not just taken action in Bangladesh, but they took action in other countries as well, all over the world. Cambodia, countries in Africa, Nepal, Pakistan, Afghanistan. They redefined the way families live. They reduced the amount of poverty in these countries, and they helped families start their new life. You as well can help. By going on CARE International's website, you can explore different volunteering opportunities, different campaigns you can take part in, or create one yourself. And even better, you can donate. By donating, you're helping support causes and programs like Shuhardo. If you haven't realized, all these problems are interconnected: sexual harassment, child marriages, malnutrition, lack of education. For example, sexual harassment leads to all those restrictions that were put upon the woman, and all those restrictions weakens the woman's mental state and physical state, leading to malnutrition, malnourished children, and so forth. By helping one cause, you're helping many causes as well. If such a small group like Rina's was able to stop such a big crime like sexual harassment in their own village, imagine what could happen if this group multiplied and expanded all over the world. The amount of families that would be helped would be numerously large. The amount of gender discrimination would significantly drop, and girls the age of Asifa wouldn't fear to walk outside in the open. It's not about making women stronger, it's about changing the way the world perceives the strength to make a better future. Thank you.